Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Noisy Neighbours podcast. Fresh off of two final defeats, one being Spurs, one being Palace. We're here, last game of the season. Christian, how are you doing, mate?
Not too bad. It's just been a bit of an anticlimactic end on it. I mean, I'm still in the thick of it, really. We've got to get a result. We've got to finish this strong. So a big day for me today.
Yeah. We've got, you've got Fulham away. United we've actually got Villa at home. So I suppose that in a way doesn't really help you because, I mean, if they get a result today, it'll probably just annoy me more than anything. And I'm actually going.
You're taking your mod, are you?
I am, yeah. But look, he's excited, and we've been practicing songs, so hopefully there's some sort of atmosphere there for him. I'm going to try and get to a pub before, I think, and like Bishop Blaze near the ground, see if it's a bit lively, and hopefully he enjoys it. But yeah, what we're on to talk about, Christian, is the news that broke yesterday, I think, or was it yesterday with David Ornstein?
Yeah.
Which is that Ruben Amorim has basically told the squad he's going to be in charge next season. And from the way Ornstein reported it, in the same breath, he said Alejandro Garnacho can leave the club. So, look, Ornstein is the god-tier journalist. This meeting has obviously gone on at Carrington. And, yeah, look, I mean, it feels like it's been coming, obviously. There's been issues throughout the season with Garnacho and even dating back to Ten Hag, actually, which we'll get into. So, yeah, look, I mean, obviously he got left out Wednesday. We'll get into obviously the more recent thing is his comments on the back of being left out on Wednesday.
Yeah, man, I'd like to. Do you know what, Alex? I'd like to hear your thoughts first on this because when it broke,
I'll go first.
I was very interested to hear what you've got on this.
Yeah. So, look, anybody that's been watching the channel for a decent amount of time will know that I don't really rate Garnacho, and I've been into it in a lot of detail. We'll touch on some of that detail today. Also, I've got this feeling with Garnacho that this is not just a recent thing with the problems with the managers, and I've got some things to back that up as well, which will sort of help paint the picture really with what has been going on with this guy and this club and this manager. So, look, Diallo got injured, and I think Garnacho has been playing out of necessity, not by choice. I don't believe Ruben Amorim has really ever rated him, to be honest. We strung together a Europa League run. Garnacho then gets dropped for the final because Diallo's back. He's come out post-game and said, I've played every game till the final. I played 20 minutes today. I'm going to enjoy my summer, then we will see. And Amorim's gone, no, we won't see. You can go now.
Yeah.
First things is, this club, Manchester United, is built. It was built to the top by a manager that took no shit from anyone. And if you think, because a manager's struggling since he's come in mid-season, that fans should be picking the side of an average winger over Ruben Amorim, then they obviously weren't around when Fergie was in charge. Because Fergie didn't take shit from players 10 times the player of Garnacho. And I can list them, by the way. Until the very end, when the Glazers were giving no money, it was, if you cross him, you were gone. It was only really Rooney and Ronaldo that flirted and stayed. And that's because of probably the economics behind the club. Yeah. Now, obviously, Beckham's the biggest high-profile player that we had in the 90s. And problems started, gone. Forget about it. You're not staying. This is how Fergie ran the club. Nobody's bigger than Man United. Paul Pogba, whinging in the youth team, not getting the minutes, gone. We will still be successful with or without you. Now, we're not successful at the moment, clearly. However, we don't change those principles. And we certainly don't change them for average players like Garnacho. And I don't know why Garnacho thinks he's at the level he obviously thinks he's at. I don't know where this has come from. I don't know if that overhead kick goal has gone to his head. I don't know if idiots with big audiences, I don't have to name any names, say that I hope Real Madrid don't sign him. I don't know if he listens to the noise. I don't know what planet he's on. I really don't. Look, I think, from what I see with my eyes, I think he makes an average Prem winger. That's my honest opinion. And to come out and criticise the manager after
to be honest, that's a compliment for him as well.
Yeah, I think so. And look, he'll probably go to Serie A and do okay, but that league's a joke, to be honest. I don't have any respect for what goes on in Serie A, to be honest. So I don't really care, and I don't care if he goes to Napoli and he's the best player in Serie A, like Scott McTominay is. They weren't good at United. What is it like? We have to sort of part in towards these players. If anything, if they leave and do better, I look at them even worse, to be honest. So I think that I think there's two things here. Do I feel like he had a reason to be upset? Yes. Now, that's because Mason Mount played, not Diallo. Now, you don't deal with it like that. You don't run to the media half an hour after full time. You don't have your brother posting on social media about how bad of a decision it was from Amorim. You don't do that. You deal with it and you move on, and it stays behind closed doors. This is something Fergie did brilliantly. You do not give the media anything. You give the media an inch, they'll take a mile. And look, I have full backing of Amorim. I don't care if Garnacho ever plays for this club again. It looks like he's not even in the squad today, which is great. So, look, I think that in a nutshell, that's really my initial thoughts before we get into actually the player and the history behind how he has been under Ten Hag as well, by the way. I think that's it, really. I think that he's a player who he's got the ego of Cristiano Ronaldo and the ability of Gabriel Obertan, and that's how I feel, really. And nothing is going to change my mind. I don't care what he does at Napoli. I don't care, because of what I've seen with my eyes at United, and that's basically it. So, I mean, obviously, you go, mate. I'm interested to see what you think, but that's exactly where I'm at.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think this is the best decision Amorim's made so far. I think he stamped his authority. And I tell you what, Garnacho coming out, like you said, the timing that he did that and running off to you talk about kicking the team when they're down and the fans, like they needed that. And you want to go out, but it's got to be all about you, and it, kid. And to be honest, I don't know what, I couldn't agree with you more. I don't know where he's got this warped version that he obviously thinks his ability level is at. I mean, I don't know who has told him. I think that agent of his is an absolute div. I think the people that are surrounding him, telling him he's as good as he is, will eventually be part of his big downfall, because he's going to... I do think he'll get a move. I think he would be best going to somewhere like a Serie A, because he's very limited ability. If he stays in the Prem, if he goes to Chelsea, that will just be an absolute laugh riot for every United fan. Trust me. No, anyone that's sat here or watches this and you're worried about Garnacho going, don't be. Because if you manage to con Chelsea into buying him, my God. The guy, we have spoke numerous times about this lad, and we've said he lacks fundamentals of being a basic, decent, and I mean half decent Premier League winger. I'm wearing a City shirt today. Alex knows my frustrations with our wingers and the downfall that we've had, going from players of the past, the Leroy Sané, even Sterling when he was in his prime, and now I'm looking at Savinho and Doku. Mate, I'm frustrated at them, but they at least have the basics of they can beat a man. I'm just frustrated they can't do anything after it. He doesn't even have that. So why is anyone bothered? I think this is the best thing that could have happened. You're able to get some money for him because for some reason he's got this name that people hype. Get the money, go and reinvest it. Also, his attitude, away from him not being a very good footballer, you don't want someone like that in the squad. You really don't. Look, you've got to pull these fucking weeds out and get rid of them all. You did Rashford, he's next. And I think it's a ballsy move by Amorim. Well, to be honest, it's ballsy in terms of how your fan base works, because a lot of them actually rate this guy. Amorim's probably looking at like me and you do, and he's like, well, the guy's very fucking average, and he's a cheeky bastard coming out spouting off. Get him done.
Amorim, obviously, it touched a nerve, didn't it, when he got asked about it? I don't know if you've seen the post-match interview after Wednesday, and Amorim mentioned that he missed chances against Bilbao, and the guy's an awful finisher. Like I think you touched on some really good points there. Firstly, let's get into him as a player, and we've done this before, but some people watching this might not have seen our old stuff, and we want to talk about Garnacho. Yeah. You mentioned about the fundamentals, Christian. I want to talk about the fundamentals of Garnacho, and things that Garnacho lacks. It's not going to be nurtured in time. It's not going to be nurtured with experience. Now, what Garnacho lacks is balance, pace, touch, and a low centre of gravity. These things that make a winger really good 1v1. Defenders eat him up alive. And we've got the numbers. You've got look, if you've got a pair of eyes, you can see this as well. But
Mate,
we've got some
statistically,
numbers.
he's one of the worst wingers in the Prem. No one can argue with me on that, because if you really want to disagree with me on it, go and do the research yourself. It will tell you the same things.
Well, I've actually, just to echo our thoughts, and obviously we're completely in line with how we see Garnacho. This is. I didn't need to do this for myself. I don't need to go and look at his numbers. I know he's averaging almost every area of being a winger or an attacker in this league. I know he's average with my eyes. I don't need anybody else to tell me that. But I know people think that because he's got a cool name, he changes his hair here and there. You know, he scored the overhead. People project what they want to see with Garnacho rather than what they actually do see. And this is something we'll get to later in the episode about United fans and the club and how they see academy prospects. This is just another example. And in fairness, Amorim is not taking any shit. He's not being blinded by the bullshit of the class of 92. He's gone. Looks like he's gone. So just on the back of the list of issues he has, fundamentals like you mentioned, I've got his dribble numbers here. Quickly, I'm not going to go way into detail. For anybody who doesn't know how percentiles work, 99th percentile is the best. The first percentile is the worst in the league. This is based on attackers in the league, not every single position. So attackers, wingers, he takes on, this is per 90, so it's adjusted because he doesn't play 90 minutes, and any other winger who gets hooked is adjusted for them. So he attempts 3.8 take-ons a game, which is good for 56th percentile. So he's about middling in the league of how many dribbles he attempts. He takes on successfully 1.3 people a game. That then drops to the 30th percentile. So his conversion is shocking. He's now dropping into the worst third in the league for wingers to beat people. And then if you reduce that to a percentage, so how many percentages of his dribbles is he completing? He drops even further. He completes 33% of his dribbles. That's good for the 11th percentile in the league. 90% of the attackers' wingers in the Premier League have better dribble stats than Alejandro Garnacho. He's in the 10% shit. That's how bad he is at it. And I know that. I don't need these numbers. These numbers are for people who might watch this and think we're talking shit. I know he can't take people on. Yeah. I know he can't because he's not got the pace, he's not got the balance, he's not got the low centre of gravity. And defenders eat him alive, that's why. Can he shift it and twat it and sometimes they fly in? Yes, he can. But if you buy enough raffle tickets, sooner or later you're going to win a prize. That's
by the way, it's very rare when it happens as well. You know what I mean?
A couple of times this season, hasn't it? And I joked the other week to you and Patrick saying, I wish he hadn't wasted it at Brentford. Could he not have saved it for the fucking Europa? Because I knew not one was coming in that. So, look, there's the dribble stats. That, you know, he's middling attempts, drops down to the bottom third for success, and then percentage, he drops down to the 10th percentile in the league. 90% attackers forwards in the Premier League are more successful at dribbling than Garnacho. That's the stats.
Alex, yeah, of course. I mean, like you say, me and you already knew this, but for anyone that does rate him, I'd like anyone to explain why is this bad? You know, why is this far down? And also, if you even still disagree after hearing that, go and look at the players then in the top 6. You tell me who he starts for. And then beyond that, go and tell me who he starts for top 10, top 12, because I guarantee you'll be actually stumbling. When you start going through the names and you're like, shit, right, Newcastle, no, you don't start for them. Villa, right, no, we don't start for them. Right, where are you actually placing this guy then? Because he's come out and said, it's disgusting he hasn't played the Europa League final, he's furious with the manager, and he thinks that's completely okay to do that. You can't be doing that. I mean, if you still had Elanga, I don't think he'd have been doing that. Elanga is probably better than him. Elanga would not have been coming out after that game and peppering the manager in the media 10 minutes after the match. He wouldn't have been doing it.
This comes back to one of my initial points with projecting this guy dangerously and his ego, and we've seen this. This isn't new. We'll just flick on to the attitude issues that we've had with this guy. And I'll even go back to before Amorim, because obviously you remember the derby in December. He dropped him and Rashford. Obviously, he's worked his way back in. Rashford never did. This is just a quick timeline of things. Somebody, a Twitter account, United Forever 7, had done this for me. So props to them for putting this together, because it's a really good timeline. And I'll just hit you with the dates and the headlines for each one. April 2024, so we're over a year ago here. Garnacho likes 2 Goldbridge posts that criticised Ten Hag after he was subbed at half-time against Bournemouth Ten Hag later said he apologised for it, and we move on. September 2024, Garnacho likes Fabrizio Romano's IG post of Cristiano Ronaldo criticising Ten Hag, who was still the manager at the time. December 24, Garnacho likes another post criticising Lisandro Martinez. 1 month into the Amorim reign. I don't really remember that. Same month, dropped for the City squad because of leaking information, potentially. The team sheet was getting leaked all the time. And attitude as well. And probably performance as well, similar to Rashford. And then we progressed to May 2025, which is this month, where he's come out, his brother's come out on social media. He's gone straight to the press and cried about not starting the game against Tottenham. So this is not a new thing with Garnacho. This is someone that thinks he's a lot better than he is. And like I said, mate, we've done it before. We laugh at sort of the United stand and platforms with 2 million subscribers, by the way. There's a clip out there, Mark Goldbridge saying, Real Madrid, Garnacho is going to be a problem in the future. This is dangerous. Now, me and you have laughed at this, right? And I still find it funny because I can't believe with someone with that platform has such a ridiculous take on things. Yeah. But at the same time, Garnacho's not English. He might look at this guy. He might think he's a proper good journalist. You never know. And he goes, fuck me. Real Madrid are going to want me. Well, I'm not sitting on the bench for Mason Mount. I'm not getting hooked at half-time for Erik Ten Hag. This is what... I'm not saying, look, Goldbridge should have zero influence on anyone, by the way, but I'm just saying how it can go.
Also, Alex, the other issues around that as well is who else is influencing. A lot of people watch Goldbridge, and a lot of the younger generation, they are rating this, and they think that guy's world-class. Well, he's not. He's very basic. I don't know how... I don't know what it is with Goldbridge. I don't know whether he genuinely is stupid, or he just has these weird takes that he wants to get clicks on. I don't know which one it is. I can't make my mind up. Sometimes I think it's one, sometimes I think it's the other. I do think he's got limited football and knowledge at all. I think he is a bit of a div. But yeah, the Garnacho thing, man, I just think United, and Amorim especially, I really like it from Amorim. I think how he's dealt with this is no-nonsense bullshit. And he's just gone... He's put it down for the rest of the players. You want to come out and you want to play silly bollocks? Fuck off then, because you're all shit anyway. I'm not bothered. I'm going to be the boss next year. You won't be. Fuck off. If you want to go and play somewhere else and prove to them how shit you are. Who cares? Yeah. Who honestly cares? None of these players can stand there and tell him that they should be playing games. You finished 16th. Well, I mean, we've not even finished it. I don't know if mathematically you can go any higher. You finished where you finished this year. It is horrendous. Not one person in that team. Look at Luke Shaw. He had it right, to be fair to him. He just literally said, I don't know if we should be playing for Manchester United. And he's fucking right.
He is,
and then you get the other idiot coming out and saying that. Oh, actually, no, I should be playing.
Yeah, you're so right. And I think, look, it's a mass... Look, the Amorim thing is a conversation for another day, I think. I don't think we can get into that yet. I think we did do an episode on it recently where we discussed the pros and cons. Not much has changed since then, to be fair. He's a young manager. I think the big thing about this is the cultural reset and part of grabbing authority of this club and stop him with what we've gone from Di Maria's, Pogba's, Ronaldo's having egos to the shit having egos like Garnacho. Yeah. Sorry, mate. Yeah, Cristiano Ronaldo can go and whinge about things. Paul Pogba can go and whinge about things because they've proven it. I mean, Ronaldo's one of the best players in history. If Ronaldo wants to he can do anything he wants. Did we like the what Ronaldo did? No. But I tell you what, he can do whatever the fuck he wants, mate. You're Garnacho. You've been average. You've come through the academy and been okay at times. Like, you've played he's a production of bad season after bad season, and now it's horrific season. At what point, he obviously sits there and goes, I'm not the problem. Well, who is then, mate? Because you've made up a third of this attack now for most of the season, and we've scored 40 goals in the league. So, what are you going to just lump all the blame on Højlund?
Because it's a lot easier to stand... If you're a decent player, it's a lot easier to stand out in a team that finishes 16th collectively than it is if he gets a move to, say, a fourth-place team in the league, which he won't. But if he did, it's a lot easier to stand out in that team than it is to stand out playing in Champions League and things like that. He won't. He's not even the best of a bad bunch. He's one of the reasons that they are a bad bunch. Yeah, he's an average player in a fucking team that finished 16th. How can anyone be annoyed at this?
Exactly. Yeah. So look, I mean, this is the thing of it looks like he's going to go, and we need money, and he's going to get sold. I think that if you just want to flip it to the side of the fans, and obviously I've been on Twitter and there's loads of fans. This is a mistake. Go and fly somewhere else. I tell you what, if you think that, go and join him. Go and support him at his next club because we don't want you. We don't want you as fans. We love this fucking badge. What this club means. I don't care about Garnacho. I'm not being funny. We shouldn't care about any of this player FC bollocks. It's all a load of shit. No, you support Man United. And if the manager of Man United says he can go, he can go. And that's the rules. And if you've grown up under Sir Alex Ferguson, you should know that. I tell you what, I don't know the age of some of these folk on Twitter, by the way. But I'm telling you, if they're my age or older and they're sat there crying about Garnacho, well, what, mate? You've got short-term memory. Where were you under Fergie? Because I tell you what, if he'd have liked a Twitter post a year ago criticising Fergie for substituting me against Bournemouth, which he did under Ten Hag, he would never have played again. That's the facts.
Yeah.
So don't be talking to me about another year of mediocre shit wing play, and we've got to honour his fucking interviews in the press. No, fuck that. Like, this, it's Christian, United fans, we have this problem, not me personally, but there's a general feel in the fan base of this obsession of what we want things to be. And it's everything. It's not just academy players, although that is the worst. It's constant chasing gold at the end of a rainbow in form of the class of 92 that creates this blind witness approach to everyone. I guarantee Chido Obi will be the next one. It's going to go on for probably as long as time because it's almost like the class of 92 was the best thing that happened and now it's becoming the worst because we're being held ransom to something, a freak that happened until it happens again. Like Barcelona are going through another wave of it now, aren't they? With Yamal, Kubasi and stuff like that. Fair play. They're legitimately great players. They've nearly won the treble for fuck's sake.
Yeah, I mean, they steadily churn out constant. They have got one of the best academies, if not the best academy the world has ever seen. So it's a bit of a different one. United, really. It's not been. United has been very much below average. If you look at who they've churned out in previous years, for a long time, like you say, the last ones you have to go back to, you're talking, I mean, the last one I suppose would have to be Rashford, wouldn't it?
Mm. Yeah, and Rashford...
Maybe was Greenwood as well, I suppose.
Greenwood, yeah, which is great because that would completely.
Yeah, I mean, we all know what happened there. We won't go into that one, but
I mean, just before we jump off this, I just want to mention. I was thinking about sort of Garnacho and the amount of appearances he's made for the club and how that compares. I've got things to back my argument up really here.
Yeah.
So Garnacho has made 143 appearances for the club, which is ridiculous because he's only 20. How that figure is that high? It's probably actually quite symbolic of how we are now 16th. I just want to read out... I've not got loads. I just want to give you 4 of the names that I just pulled together this morning, just off the top of my head. And I had a quick look at their appearances. And this is... I guarantee no other top club in England would have these appearance numbers for these players. Jesse Lingard, 232 appearances for Man United. Danny Welbeck, 142 appearances. Scott McTominay, 255 appearances. Tom Cleverley, 79 appearances for Man United. 4 players there who, after watching them for probably 2 games, I could have told you they weren't good enough. All 4 of them.
Yeah.
And Garnacho, 143 appearances, slap bang in the middle of all those 4 players. Not good enough. I saw it straight away with Garnacho. Not good enough. You know he's not good enough. And people go, Januzaj, and like this. Januzaj was better than Garnacho. And people wanted him gone because he was a bit more of a flamboyant approach. I tell you, he's better than Garnacho.
Alex, this is a deeper problem, and it seems to be post-Fergie that it's really been elevated amongst United supporters. And I've said it to you for a while that I think I'm not getting at the United fan base, but I really struggle to understand it. And you mentioned some names there. The mad thing is, Alex, you're pissed off they got that many appearances. Some of the United fan base, and I mean quite a high collective of them, actually would happily have them guys back now. And that is where you actually got to look at this and think, right, this is where we are in a bit of a mess. Like,
Yeah.
at least with City, I get so frustrated. But, I mean, I said this to you earlier in the season. We had this young lad, and he came on, and he actually scored in his debut. Pep played him in a cup game, I think Carabao. I think he's called Macabre or something like that. I think we bought him for West Ham. He's a striker, paid $1 million. Clearly, I watched him in the game. Yes, he scored. He's not. He may make it in the Prem. He's going to be very, very low level. Nothing, we just don't really speak about it again. No City fan, no City channel really speaks about it. Here's the problem with United. If that same guy scored in a cup game for United, it would be like making topics on videos and talking points. Why is he not getting his chance? And this is where it's a much deeper issue. And people need to take responsibility. And I'm talking channels like fucking Goldbridge, because they're a big reason. They have a huge influence. And they're using it for all the wrong reasons, in my opinion.
I think as well, like, look, I mean, you are right on the fan approach, and I get really frustrated with a lot of United fans, and I speak to a lot of people about this, and obviously you hear me whinging about this a lot. But also the club, like, I remember something, and we played, it was under Ranić, and we played Brentford away, I think. I haven't got this to back me up. I think it was Brentford away.
Yeah.
And it was a bit of a nothing game, and we won 3-0 or 3-1, I can't remember. The 3 goal scorers were Elanga, Rashford, and Greenwood, right? And I just remember this specifically. And we were about 5th in the league, 6th in the league. We were heading towards nothing. You remember the end of the Ranić era. It was a tough one. And after the game, United tweeted saying 3-0 win. And they did a massive post about all 3 goal scorers being from the academy. I'm like, is this what we've become? Is this what we're happy with? Are we happy that 3 academy players, let's exclude Greenwood, because obviously his downfall was something he contributed to that, but single-handedly. Let's go with Rashford and Elanga. And Rashford, this is when Rashford's been on the slide. Rashford and Elanga were not good enough at the Ranić time of this post. And United did a tweet about all 3 goal scorers being from the academy, like that was good. We were 6th. Fuck that. Yeah. I want these guys replaced so that we win 3-0 and we're top.
Yeah.
But no, it's this obsession. Oh, look, I bet the tweet will still be out there for anybody who can be asked going back looking at it. Brentford away, 3-0 win, and United are plugging, though we were probably 6th in the league, plugging away that the 3 goal scorers were from the academy. I don't care where they're from. It's a bonus. Don't get me wrong. Like you've said it, you love Foden. It's a bonus that they're from the academy if they're fantastic. But look at what we're at now. This isn't about we've given this many fucking graduates an appearance for Man United. Stop it. Robbie Savage's son got an appearance because he was commentating on Europa League on that game. What have we
Alex,
become?
It's happened a few times, and yeah, you're so right. I mean, with me, it's like you just mentioned Foden. Yeah, I'm a huge fan, and of course, there's a little bit more emotion there because they have come through the academy. You might give them a bit more leeway, but I tell you what, this season, I'm not sat there going, "No, you should be playing every single fucking game and getting on the manager if you don't play." Yeah. No, I'm not, because in terms of there's a little bit more emotion because I like the player because he has come from Manchester, and you see that. You almost see him in yourself, don't you? Because you're a fan from young and he's living your dream. But, mate, if he drops a stinker next year and we're dropping even further down the table, best believe I'll be sat there going, right, well, at the end of the day, things need to maybe happen.
Yeah.
Football is football. It's separate. Why have we got to put them on some sort of fucking pedestal?
Christian, let's just go to the and they're not, the United fans won't like this if they watch this, but this is the facts, right? And they need to listen and they need to learn about where we are with the trajectory of this club, and the approach has to change. And I believe Amorim might actually change that because he's getting called fucking useless, by the way. So he's picked out a useless player and said he can fuck off in front of the whole squad.
Yeah.
And he's, by the way, from this amazing academy that we've got. But I was just getting away from my point that Liverpool just won the league, champions, which have equalled United's 20 titles. They might be going on, Christ, we're going to get onto another subject in a minute, that might project them to another one next year. Name some Scousers in their team, not the one that's just gone. Who's the only other one you can think of? Curtis Jones.
Yeah.
Now, Curtis Jones has been on Liverpool's books now for a good few years. He's been he's been on bench appearances. Klopp's brought him in. Well, why did they go and sign Alexis McAllister then? Because they're similar players in play style, except McAllister's 15 times the better footballer, and in my opinion, he's the best midfielder in the league this year. Anyway, that's a separate conversation with McAllister. We'll do that another day. But why did Liverpool go and do that then? Because they could. You know what United would have done? we would have just gone, Curtis Jones plays every week, and how great is he? And we wouldn't have signed McAllister, and we would have come second or third. That's what would have happened.
You're so right.
And it's just simple facts. You Man United, look at Liverpool, Szoboszlai, Gravenberch, McAllister, in one window, by the way, I think, or within 6 months of each other. Man United, Scott McTominay, 250 appearances. And by the way, we came third, second, fourth in them seasons. What if we had a proper centre mid in there instead of McTominay? I know people are going to go, he's just one player of the season in fucking... I don't care about that league. Mkhitaryan and Darmian are still doing bits. If you think 10 goals in Serie A from McTominay makes him a bad sale, then where have you been?
Yeah.
You know, so look, Christian, this is where we are, and I think that hopefully Ratcliffe, obviously, look, Ineos are backing Amorim here, clearly. I mean, look, they're giving him another season after coming 16th, and they're saying, if you want that little twat gone, sell him. And Amorim's done it. He's outed him in front of the whole team yesterday. Like, I think it's great.
This is why it's important, going back to what I said before. Amorim's had a tough time, you know, and people are going to get on his back and fans are going to be divided, and maybe this will divide him even more. But what you've got to remember is the best managers of all time do this. They don't let anyone take the piss out of them in the media and then go, oh, yeah, that's fine. Forgive them. We've spoke about it. Who does that remind you of, where it went a bit tits up with that method? You read out a bit of a timeline there. Ten Hag. Yeah, well, it didn't go too well for him, did it? Of this forgive and forget bullshit, because especially when it's these type of players where you give them an inch, they take a mile. Sancho gives him a 6-month hiatus, comes back, takes the piss even more.
Yeah.
Garnacho's another one. Garnacho's going to get worse and worse with that attitude, because his ability's not going... His ability's kind of staying there, if, you know, doing nothing. His fucking ego's going up there somewhere. It's not a good trajectory to have. It really isn't. And... yeah, we'll see, mate. I think if you sell him, I watched another United channel, and he was saying United were looking at like 60, 70 million. Listen, if you can get that amount of money for that guy, and I tell you what, you can sleep easy paying what you did for Højlund, because that's in that sort of robbery nature.
Yeah, whoever said that must be getting a bit giddy, because Bayer Leverkusen have appointed Ten Hag and they're going to have the Wirtz money.
I did see that, yeah.
I mean, if people think we're getting 70 million from... 70 million for Garnacho. If people think we're getting 70 million for Garnacho, they must be thinking that it's because Ten Hag is going to tell Leverkusen to spend all the Wirtz money on him, because he's the only manager stupid enough to do that.
Yeah.
Look, Conte, like I said, Serie A is different. Like, it doesn't make it a bad sale. I never get this, right? I never understand this, where it's like, players will leave United and do better, and then all of a sudden, the club gets blamed. No. These players need to look at themselves in the mirror. If Rasmus Højlund goes to Everton,
I agree,
and scores 12 league goals, you're going to get United fans going on Twitter going, see, it wasn't Højlund's fault. Yes, it is Højlund's fault. And to be honest, if he goes to Everton and did really well, I'd blame Højlund even more. Because I've watched...
It's the only job in the world where you can underperform for years on end, go to your next job, do half okay, and your other job before you's like, oh, can you come back? No, well, they wouldn't, because they go, well, we have had him and he was fucking shit. We don't know whether his attitude's improved, but he was shit to us.
I don't need to, exactly. I mean, just a couple of other points before we wrap up on this, and I want to hear everybody else's comments in the... If you're watching this and you disagree with us, I'm sure there might be people like that. Comment below, let us know what you think, and we'll get back to you, and we can always have a chat on it in another pod as well if you've got any real sort of in-depth analysis on this. Don't just say that Real Madrid are in for him, because I won't be replying to you. Because one, I don't believe you, and two, I think you just... I don't know where you've been, to be honest, if you genuinely think that. I just want to, last thing, we did his dribbling stats, shooting statistics, another thing he's shit at. Per 90, he takes 3.61 shots a game. That's good for 95th percentile in the Prem. Very, very high, that.
Yeah.
There's only 5% of footballers who take more than him in the Prem, right? Yeah. Shots on target out of that number, 33%. Goal on target. That drops to the 34th percentile. So he takes almost the most shots in the league per 90, and he's 34% for how many go on target in comparison to the rest of the league.
Yeah, so dulled down, it basically means worse players, apparently, are taking less shots and getting more accuracy out of them.
Exactly. Yeah.
What does that
Basically,
tell you?
60% of the
So,
people taking less shots than Garnacho are getting more of them on target. That's the numbers behind it. And to be honest, I thought
let's not even go... You're saying, like, how many are on target, Alex? Let's not even go into the conversion rate to goals. Jesus Christ.
Have you noticed? I've not even got his goals assist.
No, I know, mate. It's not even worth it. That's out the
Yeah.
question.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. Like, I definitely want to just. There's a few points around this, and like I said, I definitely just want to hope that. Look, I want Amorim to succeed at United, clearly, and everybody should, by the way. And if that means selling average players to do it for decent money, by the way, why is anybody bothered? Like, stop projecting what you think these people are going to be in your head or hoping they're going to be. I love these labels. The next, insert player name. I love it. Like, next whoever. What are you basing that on? Like, what if you like Rasmus Højlund comes in, and some people will think similar name to Haaland, blonde, whatever. They're expecting an all-time great striker, but why? Wait till you've watched him and then give an analysis. Same with Garnacho. Don't say the next Ronaldo. I mean, fuck me, it'd be blasphemous to say the next Nani. Never mind Cristiano.
Yeah, it would. Of course it would. Alex, there's just another thing on these players' attitude, and it's not just Garnacho. There's quite a lot of them at your club, and when we've done watch-alongs, even with Pat, and I'm laughing. When they're celebrating goals. If you're 16th in the league and you're getting like, I've seen them celebrating goals when they're fucking losing. Or equalisers against shit teams. And I'm talking actual, like, they're doing celebrations that they planned in training. For me, I tell you what, your players from the past and, your all-time greats must watch it and go, what the fuck has happened? Because I tell you what, if Roy Keane was there and a young Cristiano Ronaldo was celebrating, sat on the advertisement boards because he scored an equaliser against a shit team in the Prem, he'd go over there and skull drag the cunt back to the halfway line. And that is fact. But the problem is, Alex, there's more of them now than there is of the... one of the ones you've probably got left of an era that expects better would be Luke Shaw. Probably one of the only ones. Yeah. And it's interesting he came out and said what he did. What he said, sorry. Because I think when he's in training, he probably is embarrassed to be around this.
Well, look, some of these players have come second, mate. I mean, look, it's not like it's been fucking terrible for all of them. Obviously, Shaw is one that you've mentioned, who is completely finished physically. Whether you blame him or not for that is another thing. But look, the issues around this squad and the mentality is just it's rotten. And just obviously we've not done an episode on the hell that was the Europa League final, but on the interview Shaw said where he said they felt Spurs were there for the taking, which is right. We all could see that.
Yeah.
Spurs wanted the finish line, and fair play, they got it. Like, we did nothing really to stop them winning that game 1-0, and you've got to tip your hat to them. But Shaw said we felt that they were there for the taking, but we didn't believe we were going to score. And it's like, well, what? How are we going to score if you lot don't think you're going to? Because as fans, like say me and Pat are doing the watch along, and all the fans in the stadium and every United fan on planet Earth, they're trying to believe. We're trying to believe one of you shit bastards is going to scuff one in. But you're telling me that the dressing room at half-time don't believe you're going to score against Tottenham. It's a disgrace. And that is, I tell you, and look, this points to, we don't believe you're going to score. Guess who came on after 60 minutes? The man we're doing the episode about. So,
and do you know what it does, Alex, with Amorim doing this? Just one last point. It actually shows these other guys where I am saying there's more than Garnacho in that squad who have got a poor attitude and a very shit ability level of football. Now, a lot of them will look at this and be a bit like, oh, well, actually, I like playing for Manchester United. Right, well, get your fucking act together, because if not, you're out the door with that idiot. And that's what that does, and that's why I think it's important. And by the way, there shouldn't be any second chances for a lot of them guys. They do need shifting on. They're crap. Whether they have a good attitude or not, that's by the by. The fact they've got a bad one is just even more laughable. But the facts are the facts. They can't really play football. They're not very good at it. Man United, I tell you what, they need to shift a lot of these guys on. Garnacho being the first, and then work your way down that fucking list.
That's it, mate. Look, we're 16th with these. Like, what are you going to say? Are we going to get relegated? Are we going to come below Sunderland if we sell them? And
exactly.
Look, we're signing Cunha. how can we come below 16th? I'm sure this will get clipped next year when we actually do get relegated. It's actually got to the point now where if we were 18th, it's only 2 places below where we are now. So I'd rather sell them and roll the dice that we somehow get worse because we're 16th with them. You know, what
2001, I think it was 2001 or 2002, when City got last relegated. We actually got relegated on your points total.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's how bad this is. So, no one is going to go. You can't sell these players on and people go, oh, we should have kept them. No, they're responsible for this shit that you are watching right now. Move them on. Go again. Cunha's a good start. But you've got to do more. And to be fair, I think it could be a blessing in disguise, this thing that me and you were pissed off with Garnacho for. Because someone somewhere has hyped this guy up and hopefully it falls into the wrong or the right hands if you're a Man United fan, and some idiots come in with a big bid, whether it's Napoli or whoever, and you can actually reinvest and get someone good.
He's not fully destroyed his value, which is all I care about. So, look, I'm going today. Garnacho won't be there, so I won't ever
Is that official? Is he not in the squad?
I don't think he's in the squad now.
Yeah, damn right.
I can't imagine he is. I don't think it's going to be a good buy. So,
Alex, I remember I saw this little lad, and it must have been like a United TV channel, and they were giving this little lad a shirt before the game. I think I sent it you that one time, and they go, "Yeah, we've got a signed shirt for you." And they asked him, "What do you think of Alejandro Garnacho?" Like expecting the kid to be like dead excited, and then do a grand reveal. They're giving him the shirt. He's like, "I don't think he's very good." And they're like, "Oh right, well this could be a bit awkward. We've got
brilliant."
And that's he's just like, right, okay.
That'll be me and Zach today. Yeah, look, respect that kid. He's got good football knowledge. He should have 2 million subscribers, like some other twat I know. Right, thanks a lot, Christian. I've enjoyed running that through. And look, it's the last game of the season. Anybody watching this, enjoy it. Hope your team succeeds in whatever they're doing. Last game of a bit of a hellish season, but I am taking my son. I'm buzzing. So, yeah.
Yeah, man.
See us all on the next one. We've got loads of other things to get through, haven't we, Christian? Obviously, the watch-alongs will be limited, but transfers, Club World Cup, pre-seasons, it's going to be continuing.
That's the one. It'll be busy.
So, thanks for listening, guys, as always. Catch you on the next one.